Do you have friends who are unsupportive of your choices? Dealing with unsupportive friends can be extremely tricky. However, before we move on, I have to give you this disclaimer that at the end of this episode, you're either going to have some serious understanding for your unsupportive friends, or you're going to be left with fewer friends. So use your discretion. So if you want to know how your friends affect how you pursue and reach your goals, and if you want to know how to deal with the drama that comes along with having unsupportive friends, then this episode is for you. Welcome back to another episode of Up It and the Actionables podcast. If you're a returning viewer or a listener, thank you for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Payden. This channel is all about mindset coaching tips and strategies that can help you move toward your life goals. So if you've got goals to achieve for yourself, then do consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell icon. When you want to pursue your goals, it's quite natural to feel excited about it. But when you don't get the same excitement from your friends, it may cause you to feel hurt and disappointed. However, to expect your friends to always cheer for you may be too much of an expectation. And here's why I say this. When you start to pursue your goals, it can cause some of your friends to become unsupportive because it brings up feelings of imbalance for them. Because let's face it, not everybody would want to see you pursue your goals. So when this happens, instead of thinking that you're off track and instead of doubting yourself and your pursuit of goals, there's a much better way to dealing with that negative drama. So that's what we're going to get into. So the way your unsupportive friend may try to discourage you from pursuing your goals, they may use either a subtle approach where they may speak to your fears and say things like they don't want to see you get hurt, or they may try to use a more direct approach where they bluntly tell you that you're mad to be pursuing your goals. The thing to note here is that whether they use a subtle or a direct approach, that is not in your control. How you are going to respond to what they say about your goals is 100% up to you. The most obvious and effortless response for majority of the people would be to internalize the words of someone else and to get hurt. Now I know it is difficult not to do this, especially if you are being critiqued for your goals by a close friend. However, like I mentioned before, there is a much better way of dealing with such negativity. And now we're going to get into 3 such steps as to how to deal with such unsupportive friends. First and foremost step to gain clarity for yourself as to why you want to pursue your goals. Sometimes what happens is it is easier to get hurt and swayed by the words of others because we aren't sure of the choices that we are making. And this can happen because we have not taken the time to ask what is the real intent behind why we are pursuing our goals. As simple as this may sound, there is wisdom here because when you seek the reasons as to why you are pursuing your goals, then that guidance will come. You just have to seek. And that guidance can come in the form of a person, a video, sometimes in the form of lyrics of a song. If you seek to know the real reasons, the real motivation behind why you are pursuing your goals, when you're clear about that, you won't get easily swayed by someone else's criticism of your goals. Make sure to return to your why every time you're met with resistance. Here's a simple thing to remember. The more you know why you want to pursue your goals, it may not make it simpler for you to do it, but it will definitely help you with negative attacks from others. Step number 2 is to have compassion. Now, depending on how close this friend who is currently being unsupportive is, you may choose to have an open and a compassionate conversation with them. You don't have to convince them of your efforts and what you're trying to achieve, surely. However, you can choose to listen to them without internalizing their opinions. Understand that sometimes when people are critiquing our choices, they are actually only projecting their own insecurities. The strategy is simple. Choose to have an open, raw, honest conversation with them without taking their opinions and their judgments to heart. At the end of the day, no matter what someone says, it's your life and it's your goals. So you can choose whether you're going to get affected by the words of someone else. Third step is identify the intent of your friend. This honestly is a feeling backed up with actions. What you need to do here is look at how this friend has been with you all along. Is this some sort of a negative pattern that they seem to repeat with you when it comes to your choices? Do they constantly make you doubt your choices? Or is this simply a matter of disagreement? There's a saying that you can resolve every fight with someone unless you don't question their intent. What this means is that you can resolve any fight with anybody as long as you know that the other person's intent toward you is not wrong. So if you know in your heart that this person does not mean you well and is constantly putting you down, then just forget all the steps and jump directly to the final step. And the final step for dealing with the drama with unsupportive friends may be painful but necessary. While I suggested being compassionate toward your friend, however, if you find yourself doubting their very intent toward you, then please do continue to be compassionate. However, stand up for yourself. Those are two separate things. You alone know why you are pursuing your goals. So if you feel that your friend is being unsupportive of you unnecessarily and is only trying to rain on your parade, then it would be wise to distance yourself from such a friend. Being compassionate in no way means that you need to put up with crap. Your friends don't need to support every choice that you make. However, if you find that your friends are constantly making you question your judgment, then maybe it's time to relook at such friendships. So those were some of the ways in which you can deal with unsupportive friends. If you want further tips to help you move toward your goals, then don't forget to hit subscribe to our weekly newsletter. The link is mentioned in the description below. Till next week, remember, what you want matters and it's really up to you to make it happen. Talk to you soon. See ya.